Hey guys, what's up? It's Mabasei here, and we're gonna take a look at a video from a user known as apparently as NoBullshit, and he decided to make a video on the topic of police violence. It's entitled "Cops Aren't the Problem, Criminals Are." This ought to be fun.
Hey everybody, welcome back to NoBullshit. Today we're taking a special request from one of my Patreon supporters. The video is called "Can De-Escalation Training Prevent Police Violence?" from MTV's Decoded. Let's check it out.
We've talked a lot about the problem of police violence on our show, but today we want to focus on a possible solution: de-escalation.
Let me translate that for you guys. Today, Franny is going to propose a stupid solution to a problem that doesn't exist. Can't wait.
Studies have shown that when police officers are properly trained in de-escalation techniques, there are far fewer fatalities.
What studies? Where are you getting this? There are no sources in your descriptions or anywhere. Just a link to a website for Campaign Zero, some bullshit regressive activist site with pics of people who support Ferguson and BlackLivesMatter. They sound biased as fuck, just like Francesca and MTV.
And don't just take my word.
Video shot in Camden, New Jersey shows a man with a knife. He's waving that knife and is confronted by police.
Sir, drop the knife or I will tase you. Go back inside.
This is the kind of video that might have gone viral if the incident had ended violently. It didn't. No shots were fired and no headlines were made. Camden County Police consider this a validation of the de-escalation tactics that they've been promoting. Here's NPR's Kevin Leahy.
So are we here right now?
We're here. This is the location.
We are at Broadway and Martin Luther King in the middle of Camden. The city struggles with high crime, lots of drugs and guns, but the county police department has been working really hard to improve its image. Officers are hoping to recast themselves as guardians rather than warriors. I'm here with two of them.
Officer Christopher Devlin.
Officer Cabria Davis.
We're here because this is where that call came in last November.
Anyone else in the area started out male with a knife.
Officer Davis was on this sidewalk when a man high on PCP burst out of a restaurant holding a steak knife.
You know, he starts jabbing in our direction with the knife
Davis's first reflex?
Let me go to my gun in case he tries to lunge at me. I have to have some type of defense. It was just nerve-wracking because you got 100 different things and you got to make a split-second decision at that time. You're like, okay, do I do this?
Davis relied on her training. She knew that to de-escalate this situation, she'd really have to slow things down.
You know, I don't want to take this man's life if there's another way to do this. Let me put it away and try another approach. Let us try to get him to an area that we know we can control him to a certain extent and use whatever other options we have.
Officer Devlin showed up as backup.
I got him. Drop the knife.
That's him on the video taking charge.
You always want one person to be talking because you get voices from all over the place. It's just going to confuse somebody even more.
Other officers cleared the area ahead of the man with the knife to protect bystanders and remove anyone who might have provoked him. They surrounded him, but loosely.
You got 6-7 officers rushing one person. That might escalate his behavior.
And they took their time. The slow foot chase eventually ended when the man just dropped the knife. Davis and Devlin earned Officer of the Week honors for the way they handled the arrest. Across the country, big city departments like Los Angeles and Philadelphia are starting to draw attention to officers who have shown restraint in the line of duty. They're giving them medals. So it seems like we're on the edge of a big change in policing, right?
The academy training on paper looks reasonable.
Constance Rice is a civil rights attorney. She advises President Obama on policing. She's interviewed hundreds of young officers, many of whom told her they were initially taught one thing.
But as soon as they get in the squad car with their first training officer, who's a grizzled old sergeant, well, they told me forget all that we learned in the academy. They're going to teach us how to survive on the street.
Back at Camden County Police Headquarters, they're aware of that challenge. Lieutenant Kevin Lutz, the chief instructor, says a core group of veteran officers serve as mentors to new recruits. He also said not every situation can be de-escalated. At times, his officers will have to use force, even deadly force. But if they've built a strong enough track record of showing restraint,
when these serious incidents happen, we now have credibility with the community.
That credibility, he says, can't be overvalued. Kevin Leahy, NPR News.
All right, well, that's just one particular instance, one particular story. But I'll actually link a lot of different sources, including the NPR page or whatever where I got that clip from. So yeah, it seems to be that a lot of places are singing the praises of the de-escalation training, actually, including some fairly pro-cop sources, actually. So yeah, no, sorry, that it seems to be that's fairly consistent. That's a I guess probably fairly true statement that she's made.
For it, the U.S. military has a big focus on de-escalation training.
Don't worry, no one is taking your word on anything nowadays, Franny. First you said studies show that when police officers are trained in de-escalation techniques, there are fewer fatalities. That sounds reasonable and believable, sure, but where are your fucking studies? I want proof. And your transition to, don't take my word for it, the US military has a big focus on de-escalation training. That doesn't prove anything. Just because the military has de-escalation training doesn't mean if we teach it to cops there will be fewer fatalities. That's just not how things work. Cops and the military are totally different things. And I don't even think the military has de-escalation training. They're trained to kill people in war, not talk to them and tell them to calm down and be nice.
So to talk more about this, we've brought Banari Polton, an Army veteran with tours of Iraq and Afghanistan. Thanks for being here, Banari.
Look at that little guy, sitting in his big boy chair. I bet his feet barely touch the ground. But really, now I wonder if he was even in the military. Probably, but him associating with Francesca makes me question it. Then again, when I looked him up, it said he was a writer for both Huffington Post and The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore. Clearly, he will shill for just about anyone. Even if he was in the military, I doubt he saw any action.
So what exactly is de-escalation?
Well, essentially, if you're in a hostile environment or in a hostile situation, you want to bring calm and peace to the situation as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Of course, we all know what de-escalation means, and it sounds like a good idea in theory, but these two assholes have no clue what's going on in the streets, what the cops have to deal with. People are crazy. Can you please tell me how to de-escalate a situation like this?
Your hands behind your back. Behind your back. There you go. Separate your feet. You ever been arrested or anything?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I'm just headed down to go see my girlfriend.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
Yes, I do. It's in my left pocket.
Can I search your pockets?
I mean...
Do you have anything? What's that right there? You got something squishing there?
It's my phone.
Okay. All right.
Bro.
Okay.
I'm legit. Like.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
Do you have anything illegal in your pockets? That's what I'm asking. Can I search your pockets?
No, sir.
Okay.
I don't have any.
That cop was de-escalating pretty good until the guy started to run and put him in a headlock. The truth is, cops already do use de-escalation. It just doesn't work with most criminals.
Citation for that? Because actually everywhere that I'm looking, every article, every study, for the one or two that I've managed to find here, seems to show that actually you're wrong. Up until very recently, most police departments had not been actually investing any time in any sort of de-escalation training at all, actually. Like, they just now started doing that, and they seem to be going over pretty well. Now, there are some people who are, like you said, literally crazy, and I feel like there needs to be a separate special kind of training to deal with those people, because a lot of those people are just, they're mentally ill. There's something literally wrong with them, and a lot of cops are not trained to deal with the mentally ill. And that needs to be taken into account as well. But this weird thing that it doesn't work with most criminals, well, it seems to be working with a great deal of criminals in Dallas, according to this article that will also be in the description. And the same thing could be said of after rolling out de-escalation tactics. It's showing in Baltimore and in a couple other places, actually. And I will link all these articles and their findings and sources, etc. in the description. So yeah, no, that's just wrong. Oh, and that guy in that clip is just fucking stupid. He was way too close to you to even you weren't gonna make any distance on that guy. What the fuck was that? That was just fucking stupid.
In 2014, nearly 60% of the people killed by police officers were unarmed or were involved in harmless activities.
How much you guys want to bet that this fact is bullshit too? Well, this one actually has a source written on it, so let's check it out, shall we? Mappingpoliceviolence.org. We go to the front page and boom, police have killed at least 263 black people in current year. Yeah, this site isn't being sensational at all. They want you to read that and think, wow, police police are really out to get black people. But I read it and think, wow, black people are committing a shitload of crimes that gets them shot by cops. And I looked through this garbage faux information site and I couldn't find Franny's 60% of people killed by police officers were unarmed or involved in harmless activities. Sounds like more bullshit to me. What really throws me off is that awkward or in there. They were unarmed or involved in harmless activities? So were the ones in harmless activities armed then? I feel like they're just lumping these two groups together to try and strengthen their point. Also, they say unarmed like it means the criminals were innocent and friendly. No, unarmed doesn't mean shit. There are plenty of unarmed, dangerous people out there who need to get shot.
So I guess this is just Mr. Bull being incredibly lazy, because using that same site you can actually find monthly report data that you can use to work your numbers out. And if you go through the site and you go to report or about the data, etc., when you go back to 2014, it shows that yes, 60% of the people shot altogether between all races, were unarmed. So that point is about this. No, she's not wrong given her source. You really should do your due diligence, man. This kind of makes you look really silly and lazy. And what's with the conspiracy shit? Like, they want you to think this. Like, what the fuck is that? They're trying to get in your, they're trying to get in your brain, man. They're trying to get in your brain, man. They'll take over your mind, man. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, I just noticed that. I see that a lot. Like, these people are weird. Like, he's not the first one. Like, these people are like, look, they want you to think this, and here's what you should think because this is what I think. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, they're always trying to accuse the regressives and the SJWs and the feminazis or whatever, trying to dictate to you what you think. They're reading your mind. Somehow they know that you're misogynistic and racist and blah blah blah, right? But somehow these people know exactly what the people who set up this site or anything else really, or made a video or whatever, and knew exactly what those people were thinking when they threw this particular piece of media or chart or whatever together. Hilarious. It's hilarious, the lack of self-awareness there.
Says to me that cops are struggling to assess the threat level of civilians that they encounter.
Well, that's because you're a fucking racist idiot. Stop blaming the cops and start blaming the criminals. It's the criminals' choices which got them in situations where cops needed to shoot them. It's not some racist conspiracy. The reason cops are shooting more black people is because black people commit more crime than any other race in America. And it's not even fucking close. And unlike these hacks at MTV, I do have sources for that in my description.
Look, it's the old bog standard internet racist talking point about them dare criminal blacks. So for whatever reason that people struggle to grapple with is that percentages are not raw numbers and per capitas are not raw numbers. Rate is not equal to to actual percentage of a whole. So that's just not how that works, right? It's just not. So just to whatever. So like we go to the Department of Justice or we'll do DOJ, and we go by who's in jail. Well, black guys represented. Well, and females actually, but anyway, are overrepresented in the prison population by like that's 30%. Over half of that, if like over half of that is all petty drug crimes, mostly related to marijuana. But either way, so we take that, and then you're like, man, there's more black guys in jails than anything. Well, not really. There's just a disproportionate amount in the justice system. Not that every single whatever. Like it's still over 90%, just like over 90% of white people are not in jail. The same goes for black people. And the same thing goes for these crime stats, right? Just you say they commit half of all murders or whatever, which is like the highest percentage in the go-to. That's half of all the murders that they can find the actual suspects for, and the suspect's race is known, are black, right? And that's also only for a couple of departments submitting their shit, because from what you gave us, the Uniform Crime Report statistics from the FBI, it would seem that we're only getting like a little bit over 12,000 agencies. So it'd just be reasonable to say that probably some of the biggest counties were a lot of Blacks Live are submitting their data, etc. But either way of how we're getting the data, it still shows that when we actually do crunch the numbers against their total population, that only like 1% of them is committing a crime at all, and even less than that are committing violent ones. So it really doesn't make any sense to be, shooting at, beating on, slamming, choking, whatever, these people who you have a over 90% chance that they're perfectly peaceful, normal individuals, right? Like, there's really, even if you attempted to take statistics, if you read them like a fucking fifth grader and only paid attention to the percentage, yeah, you probably could justify that. But honestly, if you're a trained professional, I'm gonna hold you to a higher standard. And yeah, it looks really stupid. It's a incredibly flimsy argument that's based on extrapolations and either misreadings or being purposely misleading about statistics. So yeah, that's weird and silly. So the gist of that rant is that no, they don't commit more crimes than everyone else in America. They have the highest crime rate out of all the races as a collective, including all, violent and non-violent offenses, aside from a few categories. But they do not commit the most. It's still the lion's share of crime goes to whites in America. So yeah, no. Blacks have the highest crime rate, not the most crimes committed. That's stupid.
And if you want to see it for yourself, check out Colin Flaherty's YouTube channel. He has been exposing this massive crime wave in black communities for years. Funny how me and Colin, two white guys making videos in our living rooms, we are the ones making accurate videos with proper sources.
No, you and Colin are both two white guys who are basically racist propagandists, which I wasn't prepared to declare you as such, but seeing as you listen to Colin, it's pretty obvious at this point.
While MTV, a billion-dollar company, is pushing lies with fake sources. Seems legit to me.
So what if someone who's unarmed is like running at you? What would you do to assess the situation?
Well, generally speaking, we're trained to assess things like, is this person armed? Are they not armed? Do they present a danger to me personally? Do they present a danger to the people around us? Do they seem to be in danger themselves? Are they in distress? Are they coming to us for help?
But when they're looking for help, we don't shoot them.
No, you don't want to shoot someone who's coming to you for help.
Damn it, Franny. You make me do this every goddamn time. Okay, guys, that was a joke in case you missed it. I feel like one time when she was in high school, a guy told Franny she was funny to try and get in her pants. Ever since then, Franny thought she was the funny one at school, and now she's a self-proclaimed comedian. Yay! But really, this joke tells you how Franny views cops. They are just a bunch of idiots shooting guns at people willy-nilly to her. No, they're fucking heroes who protect us from criminals and crazy people. And this prevalent anti-cop mindset in the black community, that's another reason black people get shot by cops so much. If black people respected cops and the law more, they wouldn't get arrested and shot more.
And that right there, ladies and gents, is where I checked out. Couldn't finish the video. It's just so rife with just random, just stupid shit. And it's really, it all kind of goes off base when it comes to talking about using sources and etc. It's just common cop apologetics. And even then, he's working from a faulty premise that we don't know that de-escalation training works. Which we do know. At least we have some inkling of knowing that it does work. Because there's plenty of, there's a study, there's some articles, etc. that I keep alluding to with the on-screen prompts. And yeah, that's that. I'm Mabasei, and I would like to thank you for watching. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification thing if you do subscribe, because YouTube's retarded. Alright, okay, bye.